You know who your leader is. You know who you serve. His Excellency.
Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome to my channel. Life is a journey, messy, beautiful, and full of unexpected growth. Good morning, guys. Today's Thursday, and I missed golden hour. A bit of a late start. No mind though, it's a bit overcast anyway, but let's go have a good walk. It just doesn't translate. So I'm out here, and I'm trying to rewire my brain, which is something that I've only recently learned about. Is that people who have gone through, for instance, head injuries or emotional traumas, people who are neurodivergent, which has a correlation, their brains are wired differently due to the stressful, traumatic situations that they've been put in, and continually, frequently over time, that particular, nerve in the brain, or this grid kind of pattern that happens, becomes strengthened. So a good example that I understood was when I was younger. I had a brother who was always gunning it for me. He always had it out for me. He was always jumping me at any chance that he got. So I learned to be hyper vigilant and be, always aware of that particular danger. And so that day in, day out, that kind of exposure onto your brain does some damage. So when I look at my own life and, all the trauma that I've endured, and I know that there's, trauma is not a rarity. Most people go through it, but I'm just trying to illustrate my point. Is that it has wired my brain in such a way that it's really difficult for me to be happy. Like, in general, I'm a more sad, depressed person. I am unable to, I'm poor. Like, I have a poverty mentality, and I just, lack joy and lack these things that normal wired brains would probably have. I just started reading the book. It's called A New Me by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Hold on. So A New Me by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm actually listening to it on audiobook via Audible, which I'm testing for 30 days free. And so far it sounds really good, and I'm enjoying reading not reading, but listening, because I don't really have I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't feel like I would read books anymore. I used to ravage books as a kid, and that stopped because adult life happened and all these things, and internet was more interesting. But I'm done with the internet, to be honest. Whoa. And I want to return to books, gain knowledge, gain wisdom. After I failed my 7-day fast yesterday, I really fell into a bit of a hole. I really felt guilty and ashamed that I couldn't make it. But I had to stop because my heart was racing, and I was dizzy, and I was just generally very unwell. And it just caused me to kind of dive deeper and see how unhealthy I actually am these days. I smoke, which is not something that I used to do daily, but I smoke, and definitely that's not good for my heart or for my lungs, and I'm working towards being free from that. I just want to be... The thing that I was going through with my fast is that felt like this old me that is holding on to really past trauma and just in general, just my past, really doesn't want me to let go. It's like screaming, it's like kicking and throwing a tantrum, and I'm just really ready to just put a period behind that time, behind that chapter and that book, and to start a new book, a brand new story. It's really important to me because I do not want to be carrying old trauma with me anymore. At all. I want to be free of it, and I've given it to Christ many times. I've asked God to take it away and all these things, but I know now that God is just not, he's not like a magic pill. You know, you don't just take this pill and everything painful goes away. You still have to work on it. It's just, Christ just promises that all things are possible through him, and that he will never abandon or forsake us, and that he loves us, and to not fear because he's always with us. So that doesn't mean that we won't go through things and that we won't have to work in order to be rid of these things, and it causes us to be accountable, to be held accountable, and also to just, work on ourselves, work on our lives, work on our communities. I think it's actually, now that I'm starting to understand, I'm finding it actually quite beautiful, because isn't that also the human experience? I think that's the reason why America always attracted me so much. It doesn't anymore, but it used to back in like the 90s, the 80s, the 90s. It was the land of the free and the land of the American dream. Anything, but also absolutely anything would be possible in America if you just believed and worked hard for it. And I bought into that for a while when I was younger. But I lacked the foundation of having Christ as my rock, as my foundation. And that's why I never succeeded, and I never was able to see through to the next phase. I've always been trapped by my old me, by my past. I've always identified by my trauma. And what I have learned through all the years of being alone, and what I have learned from being alone without friends for the majority of my 40 years of life, is that actually solitude is strength. The amount of friends that you have, or the amount of social gatherings that you attend, have no direct correlation on how good of a person you are. And now I embrace solitude. I mean, I've always just been super anxious and socially awkward, and I still kind of craved that connection, And I still do crave a connection with people, but I don't necessarily need it to be full on daily. I just, now all I want to do is have my solitude, take my walks alone, read books, lift weights when I get weights, and just work hard. Do what makes me happy. No longer identify myself by my past. Forgive those who have hurt me, because not forgiving somebody is like drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. It's only really bad for your own soul and your own life. So these are all things that I have known for a while instinctively, but I never, applied to my life. But 2025 is a different year. 2025 is the year where I become the new me. Where I put on the new self. Let the Holy Spirit fill me up. I know that for a lot of people it's going the opposite way. They're actually feeling more hopeless than ever and more depressed than ever because of the state of the world. And trust me when I say that the world has always been a dark place, and it's always seemed like it was on the verge of collapse, and yet we still are here. I have paid attention to this for too many years of my life and let it ruin most of my life. And I still believe that God is gracious and merciful, and He can restore the time that we have lost, that the enemy has taken from us, and to just restore to us also what He has taken. Not just time, but, people that He has taken from us, money, all these types of things, our peace of mind. God will restore it. He says so. He promises so. And that's where I am at. So coupled with this kind of newfound knowledge, which I'm still obviously going through, of rewiring the brain and quantum physics and the quantum field and etc. And I will talk about this once I've listened to it myself and I can word it better. Can't just, talk about it when I haven't even read the full book yet. I've only made it to like chapter 7. It's gonna be possible. I feel good. Yesterday I was without hope. I was having a lot of thoughts about not wanting to be here, not wanting to exist, because I felt like a burden to my wife, mostly, and I felt trapped and no way out. And those thoughts come too often. They come too often, and it's scary. And I know I'm not the only one, but I am not giving up this life without a fight. Not everything is black and white. That's also something that I'm learning. Not everything is black and white. There are gradients. And yeah. I think it's also because God gives us a purpose in this life, and when we're not fulfilling that purpose, it really depresses us. It can really get bad. I never felt like I was meant to work for money, but I was meant to work for God. And so are you, if you're watching this, I think. Oh, there she's, good girl. How much of this journey I'm going to document, I don't know. How much I'm going to disclose, I don't know. Because I do feel like when you're rebuilding yourself, you ought to keep it to yourself. But I also want it to be a testament to God's glory, to God's faithfulness. I want to, when it happens, I want everybody to see, for God's glory, not mine. How He took me, nothing, a complete zero, with just bags and skips full of trauma and just baggage and crap, and turned him around with just turned him around to such greatness. And that can only be God. But it's also nice that He's asking me to be a co-creator. So, yeah, that's it for now. I don't know really what else to say. This was totally impromptu. I wasn't really going to record anything, but it's been a very long time since I've recorded anything, and the weather has played a part. It's cold again. It's cold. It's not very sunny lately, and I really am in need of vitamin D and maybe some other minerals and vitamins. We'll see. But okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Take care of each other. God bless. Peace. See you next time.